Hi, welcome to Manas Shield YouTube channel. Before we start, kindly subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thank you. Let's start the video. If you haven't watched the previous video, I'll link it in the description box, or you can click here. Tensura Volume 20. Chapter 4. The Siege of the Divine Tree. Tempest Reinforcement. Magus had all gone out to the battlefield and was doing his best to buy time. The reason for this was to let Sylvia, Omnisia, and other important people escape. If they returned to the battlefield, the warriors' efforts would have been in vain. To tell you the truth, I don't like the idea of us running away alone. I agree with Mom. Lim will make fun of me later, so I'll do my best. They had already made up their minds. Your Majesty. One of the elders shouts in desperation. It was the minister who had sent Laplace Sarian into battle so long ago. He has regretted it ever since. They have vowed never to do it again, and this time they are doing their best to protect their beloved Omnisia. But Omnisia turns back to the face of the rulers and asks the question. Who am I? As an elder, he had to answer. I am the Emperor of Japan. Who could stand in my way? The minister wept inwardly, thinking that it was cowardly to wield power at a time like this. However, he understands that this is Omnisia's way of life, and there is nothing he can do to stop her now. It can't be. I could do nothing but bow my head in agreement. Now that the minister, now the eldest, had given his approval, there was nothing the others could do. The heads of the 13 royal families must fulfill their duties as kings. As the most subordinate of the emperor, they were entrusted to lead the people in accordance with his order. Your Majesty. Elu-chan, Yulin-chan will be protected by Lim, so you should protect them. Me too, I'll be your friend too. Well, I don't know if I'm in the way. It's true that Elu-chan is one of the Magus leaders, but he'll just die for nothing. It was not Omnisia who objected, but Sylvia. Elu thought that they had never met before, but Sylvia thought that he was her beloved husband's brother. Even when she pretended to be Omnisia, they had met many times. That is why she rejected him coldly. Elise Grimwald, grandmother of Omnisia and mother of Elulud, nodded her head in agreement. In her capacity as the first of the 13 royal families, she ordered Elulud, the Archduke, she declares in a dignified voice, though she is usually calm and gentle. Do not be selfish, but do your will. It was a pressure that was irresistible. The other kings could not help but nod their heads, if not their hearts. But, mother. Elulud, who was still trying to argue, was silenced by Eris's stare. It was the first time Elulud had ever seen his mother really angry. One of the kings admonishes Elulud. If Master Ellis had not stopped you, you would have been bound. An older royal, who had long ago given up the throne to his sons, tapped Elulud on the shoulder and spoke to him. Give up. Sylvia has been in hiding since your brother Sarian disappeared. No wonder she doesn't know how scary she is, but she's even more scary than the king. Yes. We're no match for her. We'd better take your word for it and run for it. It was an unspoken rule in Sarian never to say she was dead. It was a natural habit, as no one wanted to incur Sylvia's wrath. And everyone laments their helplessness. Once again, they were dependent on them for their survival. But if this is the wish of the emperor, it is the duty of her subjects to obey. The young kings, seeing their elders, have realized this. There is no use in rebellion. At the same time, they were surprised to learn that Sarian was really a monolith. The parents and grandparents' generations, who usually seemed to be at odds with each other, were talking to each other amicably. It was the first time for me to see such a situation, but it was so natural that I did not feel any falsehood. Everyone agreed that it was because of the cherries of Sylvia and Omnisia. Sylvia is a spear master who wields a Vajra with her ultimate skill Thunder King, Indra, the highest level in the weather system. Her daughter Omnisia Elder Sarian also has a different face from that of the emperor of the sorcerer's dynasty of Sarian. She has awakened to the ultimate skill Vayu, the highest level of the weather system, which seems to have been split off from Sylvia, and is a genius in battle, cutting her enemies to pieces by freely manipulating a mythical great chakram. Omnisia was a genius in battle. Omnisia's ability, though inferior to Sylvia's, was not far behind. Once again, they returned to the battlefield with the wishes of all. And this is how they found their way. Heaven helps those who help themselves. Through their courageous actions, hope is unbroken and leads to the future. Benimaru, Sawe, Leon, Kaguli, Tyr, and the others arrived in Sarian some time after Sylvia and the others returned to the battlefield. They were seen in the images in the control room after their second sortie. Therefore, they were already exhausted. The wounded seemed to be receiving medical treatment on the leaves of a giant sacred tree. Sylvia and Omnisia were protecting them, while Jahal and Zalerio were dealing with them. The defense mechanism of the tree was working, which was the only reason why everyone was not killed. Omnisia was impressed. "You really sent us reinforcements when we thought it would be too late, Ramuchi." Omnisia greeted Benimaru and the others with emotion. "Rimuru-sama will keep his promise." Benimaru smiled and nodded, looking at Zalerio and Jahal. Leon flew in front of Zalerio to replace Omnisia. The flame pillar in his hand gleams and has a strong presence. Saoi had been sneaking up behind Zalerio before he knew it. Everyone is floating around the sacred tree to fight in the air, and Saoi is also floating in the sky as a matter of course. Although it was 2 against 1, Leon and Saoi were at a disadvantage in terms of the difference of strength. However, Saoi did not care about fairness and justice, and he was ready to make a surprise attack without any hesitation. Jahal, on the other hand, said, "I won't forgive you." Koguli floats next to Sylvia. At this level, they can create a foothold in the air as well as on the ground. "You're so cocky." Tyr glares at Jahal, who grits her teeth, as if challenging him. The 3 of them surrounded each other in a 3-on-1 formation, and a battle was about to break out. Benimaru grasps the situation of the war from a bird's eye view. Except for Jahal and Zalerio, who are generals, Magus is the best in the battle. Magus has quickly recovered and started to push back Phantom's forces. Now, if we could defeat both Jahal and Zalerio, we would be victorious. Knowing that it would not be easy, Benimaru reads the war situation with a wry smile on his face. Leon, facing Zalerio, is in a bad mood, despite his usual expressionless face. Leon is easily misunderstood. He is not a good talker, and even his well-meaning actions are often the cause of resentment. The few people who understand Leon are Sylvia, his mentor, and Omnisia, whom he considers to be his ally. To torment both of them to this extent was the second most offensive act to Leon. By the way, it is needless to say that the first place is awarded to Chloe. Anyway, there are other reasons for his anger this time. "I can't forgive myself for being dominated by them, and I can't forgive myself for causing trouble to Sylvia because of it." He wanted to take Michael, the cause of the trouble, into his own hands. But it seems that Rimuru beat him to the punch, and he feels bad that he owes Sylvia a debt that he cannot repay. If he did not repay the favor here, he would be in a worse position than ever before. Sylvia alone was enough. Moreover, Leon was sure that this time it was not only a problem of Sylvia and her friends. The purpose of Velsert is unknown, but it seems that she is on her way to them while fighting with Milim. If they are caught in the aftermath of the battle with Milim, this place could easily disappear. Leon does not think this is the end of the story. From Sarian, there is no obstacle to the western nations where mankind is thriving. To the west was the deadly desert, and beyond that was Damergania, the holy void. And if they turned slightly southwest, there reached El Dorado, Leon's dominion. Although Velsert's intentions were unknown, there was no doubt that one of these places was targeted. If it is only Velsert, we can take countermeasures against her, whatever her intentions may be. However, with Milim running amok, it would be extremely difficult to interfere in any way. Is it Velsert's will or Feldway's strategy? Whatever it is, we will stop it. This was Leon's decision. Leon's principle is to make a quick decision and to punish the suspected. In this case, it is up to Rimuru and his team to stop Velsert and Milim, but there is no doubt that Sarian is one of the most important defense lines. As a proof of this, it was exposed to the enemy attack, and it was necessary to eliminate the enemy general before Milim could reach there. Then, we can deal with Milim's outburst with all our strength. Of course, it would be suicide to fight them directly, but we can at least try to reduce the damage by making them change direction. We can't let them go towards El Dorado, and we can't threaten the human sphere of existence. It would be best to lead them to the barren lands. Leon thought it would be the best way, though he was sorry for Daggerel. For that reason, he could not be disturbed. "Well, Feldway has a very clever plan to take advantage of Milim's outburst," he said to Zalerio. While speaking to Zalerio, Leon thrust the tip of his sword at him. Leon's fighting style is similar to that of Fenshin. He was good at brilliant techniques, mainly thrusting. Some people think that Fenshin Gu is a dueling swordsmanship and not suitable for actual combat, but this is not true. The most powerful of all sword techniques is the thrust. Leon's swordsmanship overcame this weakness. Like Sylvia's spear technique, Leon could avoid being pursued by the attackers by combining it with the divine speed of his body technique. Leon's power is specialized in speed, and his weapon, Flame Pillar, is of mythical grade. In a serious fight, Leon does not rely on the Golden Circle. Combined with the fastest speed without regard to defense and the most powerful swordsmanship concentrated on a single point, Leon was also called the hero of the Flash. In addition, Leon could manipulate the Speartron at will with his ultimate skill Purity King, Metatron. This enables him to perform the most powerful disintegration repeatedly, and no one has the means to stop him. This was the reason why Leon was called the strongest. In terms of existence value, Leon is not far behind Zalerio. However, in terms of combat ability, if we consider his fighting ability, Leon's lean fighting style was enough to compete with Zalerio's. A warrior knows a warrior. Zalerio also recognized Leon. That is why he said. They said they wanted Vildora's factor, but I don't know what they are really thinking. Velzard is acting on her own, and I'd like to know what she's really thinking. He is very frank and honest. In fact, Zalerio has not been given any explanation. He is waging a war to overthrow Sarian as ordered by Feldway. Jahal also wanted Luminous, but he was included in our operation. Since they are willing to go that far, it must make sense for them to take this place. There is no more uninspiring work than being forced to work without understanding the logic behind it. Zalerio thought it was an unpleasant way to treat a general, even if he was a soldier at the end who was expected to serve as a cog in the wheel. He was not able to resist Michael's control, which is why he was willing to accept such treatment. However, Zalerio, who had always been looking for an opportunity, had a chance to release it the moment Michael disappeared. Since then, he had been analyzing the system little by little, and it was almost ready to be released. Since he was not obliged to explain it all, Zalerio changed the subject. So, Leon, are you going to play with me? Or do you want me to play with both of you at the same time, even you who are sneaking around in the back? Zalerio glances at Benimer, who is not going to make a move. He was not licking their lips, but was going to distribute his forces appropriately on the battlefield. That decision is tantamount to underestimating them, but it does not matter to the unwilling Zalerio. He cannot disobey orders, so he will just let it slide. Sae knew that his presence would be noticed. Unlike Jahal, Zalerio seemed to be on his guard. Benimer's conclusion was that Zalerio was more troublesome than Jahal, although Jahal was more threatening in terms of existence value alone. Sae agreed with Benimer's conclusion. Therefore, he did not intend to take Zalerio by surprise, but was prepared to support Leon. If they know, it's too soon to talk. We can't afford to do so, and we have to justify every action to win. Sae declared his intention to cheat without any hesitation. Leon had no objection to this. It was natural for him to aim at the victory with all possible means, since it would be meaningless if he lost the game. Thus, the battle for Zalerio started with Leon as the main player and Sae assisting him. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoy it.